The moment we have all been waiting for. Number 1. I come to you with freshly cut breakdown bangs to talk about one of my favorite artists, which is Miss Phoebe Bridgers. While many people are talking about her recent work with Boygenius, the supergroup that consists of Phoebe alongside Lucy Dacus and Julian Baker, I'm going to be focusing on her solo career today. And that is because I want to. So I'm going to be telling you the top 10 Phoebe Bridgers songs ranked in order from 10 to number 1, in my opinion, as a singer-songwriter in the same general vein as Phoebe, and also as just a really big stan. At number 10, we have Graceland Too.
She could go home, but she's not going.
This song on Punisher is one of her most country-ish songs that she's released. And I think it's really cool that she leans more into the indie folk side of things for this song. It's fitting that she's singing about Tennessee. There's banjo, there's strings, there's a largely acoustic backing to the entire song. It's just a really touching song about being there for a friend and how you would do anything for them and love them and support them. The song's really touching, and sonically, it's very pretty. At number 9, we have Motion Sickness. This song is a perfect example of a technique that Phoebe uses a lot in her music, and I think is one of the most distinguishing features of the songs that she puts out, and that's that the lyrics heavily contrast with the composition and production of the songs. Motion Sickness is a very scathing song lyrically, and it comes from a place of hurt and anger. You would never know that if you just listen to the music, because it's a definitely more upbeat, funky type production. But lyrically, the song is dealing with what appears to be a relationship with someone who was much older. I say that because the line, "You said when you met me you were bored, and you were in a band when I was born. Well, I only got with you because I was bored at the time," and da-da-da-da-da. It very much gives piece of shit older person preying on someone who's younger. For number 8, we have Chinese Satellite.
I want to believe. Instead I look at the sky and
This song deals with very big questions, if not the biggest questions, which are about death, the meaning of life. Is there an afterlife? Is there a God? It seems lyrically to be relating to the loss of a loved one. Kind of, I really hope that there is some bigger meaning because I want to be able to see you again. And that desperation is really captured with the line that is the hook of the song. Took a tour to see the stars, but they weren't out tonight, so I wished hard on a Chinese satellite. Kind of reminds me of the song Airplanes with Hayley Williams and B.O.B., you know. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now. Obviously they're very different songs, but lyrically it's a similar parallel. Number 7, Sidelines. Now, this one is one of the more poppy, upbeat songs in Phoebe's discography, and it's also one of the happier lyrically. I really like that there's some experimental choices made production-wise with the electronic drum kit loop repeating throughout, but that we still get those elements that we know Phoebe for, like the strings and the harmonies. Lyrically, the song is about finding love and a reason to keep going in an otherwise really shitty time. Whereas a lot of Phoebe's songs are about wanting to... This one is about wanting to live again. And so, it's still number 7 on my list, but definitely in my top 10. For number 6, we have Smoke Signals.
Went with you up to the place you grew up and we spent a week.
I think Smoke Signals is one of her best examples of storytelling in the lyrics that she writes. Even though the lyrics are very specific, it paints a picture so vivid that you can find it even more relatable somehow. It's a principle that's pretty well known in songwriting, and you see it a lot in Phoebe Bridgers' work, as well as Taylor Swift's work, where the more specific that you are about a specific person, the more the audience can relate to it because it feels like it's a real person. It feels like it's a real situation that happened. The song's also just really pretty. I love the plucked bass that acts as an undercurrent to the rest of the production in the song. And I don't know how else to describe it besides doing a little impression. Send in smoke, dong dong dong, signals. 5. Funeral.
Jesus Christ, I'm so blue all the time.
Don't let the first few seconds of the song fool you, because it's actually one of the most acoustic, stripped back songs that she has in her discography. The lyrics are just so gut-wrenching. It is a sad girl song at its finest. Jesus Christ, I'm so blue all the time. And that's just how I feel. I always have, and I always will. You know, it touches on themes of grief and loss and even wanting to yourself. But it does so with a production that's very light and airy and feels like a springtime day. If you haven't picked up on a theme yet in my ranking, it's that I love a good contrast. Number 4, I Know the End.
Everyone's convinced it's a government drone or an alien spaceship either way.
This song is one hell of an album closer. When I heard this track on Punisher for the first time, I was blown away. It is a work of art, and while it's not number 1 on my list, let's be real, the top few in this list are all pretty much neck and neck with one another. And of course I couldn't possibly talk about this song without talking about the ending. The way that it culminates in this chaotic, loud mess of energy is so fitting for the song because lyrically, what is it about? The end of the world. It's about the apocalypse, and it sounds like it's about the apocalypse, and it's very fitting that this album came out right when we were in lockdown. Number 3, Punisher.
Love a good place to hide and play.
This song is the title track for the album, Punisher, and it definitely deserves it. It uses a lot of the elements that are in the album's lyrical and musical landscape, like the harmonies and the synth sounds and the overall flowiness of the sound. The backing vocals are slightly distorted, which highlight the fractal synth sounds that you hear just kind of sprinkled on top of the overall track. And it also really uses dynamic well, because not only is there contrast in Phoebe's work of lyrics versus the music, here there's contrast where it's very stripped back and then very loud and wide. And that happens between the pre-chorus and the chorus in this song. And it's one of the reasons why it's so high in my ranking. So now we're down to my absolute top favorites. And my second favorite is Moonsong.
I will wait for the next time you want me like a dog.
If the messy, intense, complex emotions of a heartbreak that you feel when a traumatic relationship ends were all packaged neatly into one song, that would be Moonsong. The lyrics use this metaphor of being a dog waiting on its person to come home to illustrate the power imbalance and the dynamic between the narrator of the song, presumably Phoebe, and the person that they're addressing in this song. It is such an apt metaphor that it is painful. This song is painful. In a very good way, of course, but it hurts right in the heart. And it's especially painful in the bridge when she says that when you saw the dead little bird, you started crying, but you know the killer doesn't understand. You're so naive and you look at this person with these rose-colored lenses that just aren't really what's happening. And it's just so sad. This song kills me and I love it. Now, the moment we have all been waiting for, number 1, the one you might be surprised is number 1, is Killer.
I am sick of the chase, but I'm stupid in love.
This song is Phoebe, a piano, and powerful lyrics. And that's it. And I think that's why this song has to be my number one. It is such a vulnerable story being told. You feel like you're in the room with her, and she's just sitting at the piano telling you her darkest thoughts. And it's so beautiful, and it proves just how great of a performer and a songwriter that she really is, because it is just piano and Phoebe. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed my ranking. If you have other opinions, let me know in the comments, but please be nice. I am a singer-songwriter myself. I am on all the platforms. You can find me on TikTok, you can find me on Instagram. I'll have links down there or to the sides or whatever it is that the YouTube people do.